Good morning, students. Yeah, am I audible?
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am. Good
good
morning, ma'am.
morning.
Good
Good morning,
afternoon, ma'am.
everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon, everyone. So, welcome you all. And here, as we discussed, we have invited today entrepreneur who has started his co-working space as a successful co-working space, Rook India, based in Bangalore. And he has a total of 10 years of experience as an IT engineer who is a master's in computer science and bachelor of computer science as well. And his whole experience has been working in various MNCs, working in various as a software engineer. So now, just 1 year back, he has started his entrepreneurship venture, the Rook India. So, Mr. Kalita,
Hi, Rupam. How are you?
yeah, good,
Am
good.
I audible, guys?
Students, yeah, can you hear Kalita, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
Hey, hi, everyone, and I really thank Rupam for giving me this opportunity to interact with all you students here in Delhi. Currently, I'm in Guwahati, so I think I have shifted my headquarters to Guwahati now because the market is changing, as you know, after the pandemic. So, yeah, Rupam, yeah, I think we can get started.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Uh, Sir, we would like to have your experience, your knowledge, how you started, and motivated you while you started your business, because it's a really risk while you live while you have your job, such a promising IT job, IT career, uh, of 10 years experience you have worked. So you have left that and started your own business. So how that motivated you to start your business?
It didn't happen overnight. Actually, it was a gradual transition I had. In the sense that when I was in job, I was helping one of my friend starting a similar co-working space in Bangalore. That's how I came to know about this whole business, and I saw the potential. It's huge. This is like uh, I studied a lot after that. I mean, what is funding, what is shares. So a lot of studies I had to do before jumping into this, finally taking this big decision, giving up my comfortable job. Mostly, I think three years back, I think it all started when a friend approached me for some small funds. I said, okay, let me help him out. And then
I think there is some technical glitch. Students, can you hear me and sir, or is
No,
it from
sir.
my?
No, ma'am. I can hear you only.
I Yeah, I think his camera and his mic is mute. I think stopped working. Okay, student, you can also ask him questions, right? So it will not be a proper lecture kind of session. So you can also ask sir any queries if you want to start a business, how to do finance of your startup enterprise. Yes, I'm just giving him a call. Okay, just a minute. Okay, no worries. So we can continue. So, as in the whole semester in this class of entrepreneurship development as well as in startup management, so we all have been discussing what's the importance of starting your own business, right? Entrepreneurship venture. So, as even in my class, right, we have been from the starting of our unit discussing what drives to start a business, what are the basic characteristic of a business, right? So what are different types of entrepreneurs. So like we know that there are different types, right? Like Fabian, drone entrepreneurs, innovative entrepreneurs, right? And imitative entrepreneurs. So when we say third generation entrepreneurs, we are mainly talking about those entrepreneurs who have started their own. So who have started their own right from the scratch, right? And the Fabian entrepreneurs like so are those who have been continuing their hereditary or the family business. So for having a fourth generation entrepreneurs, it needs courage, determination, right, and confidence to start their own entrepreneurship venture. Yes, welcome back, Kalita sir. Yes,
Hey, sorry, some network issue here on my side.
okay, no
So
worries.
I will restart. So yeah, it was a gradual process for me. I learned this business from a friend, how I started, and then I saw a big potential that could be ventured into. So I was almost 10 years experience in my current job. It was a very steady life, but the career growth is kind of a very static. In any job, if you know the career graph, you will know how very static career path you will be having. So I was having the same thing. So I saw this opportunity, and then because of my network, my strong network that I have built by 10 years, where I have a lot of friends, some friends in US, some friends in India, and many of my friends were already running their businesses. So I thought maybe if I venture into this business with my own network and with the access of uh, funds through friends that I have, probably I'll be able to pull it off. So that's how I took the courage. I gave up my job and I got full time into this. I had to get full time because of another reason. When I started my business 1 year back, uh, I very quickly I got my first client. Okay, and then things became a little difficult to manage with my current job that I was having, and I saw a big opportunity with a lot of startups to work. So that's how I thought, okay, let me at least try it out. If at all nothing goes as planned, I can always get back to the regular job. Really got full time into this business, and things moved very well. It was moving really well till the pandemic hit. So we all know how pandemic treated every business, right? But somehow I managed to survive this pandemic, and company is still growing at some pace. It's not as I expected in the beginning, but even with the pandemic, the company is still surviving and still growing, and people are recognizing the company and the brand. So far it has been exciting journey for me, and I got the chance to meet a very good lot of great entrepreneurs in the journey. It's a never-ending learning process actually. So you will do a lot of mistakes. I did a lot of mistakes, but eventually I learned, and I kept correcting myself and just kept moving on. So that's how it has been so far, and it has been very exciting. It's if you love adventure, this is for you, because this is not going to be very comfortable. You have to get out of your comfort zone. If you want a comfortable life, entrepreneurship is probably not for you. This is like full-fledged adventure. You don't know what is going to be there next. You have no idea. Even if you take the biggest example, the largest companies, look at how pandemic treated them. Look at how Airbnb came down in just 2 months. It was an empire created, I think, more than 10 years. Nobody thought that such a company will get impacted so badly. So you never know what happens, right? So, but somehow things are moving on well. And the best part of entrepreneurship is like everybody keeps hearing that 99% startups fail. Okay,
Mm,
this is a very common statement, but have you heard of saying 90?
mm, mm. I think the guests all again have some technical issues. Okay, so no worries. like we have been always discussing, right? How much this networking plays such an important uh, doing your father's business or your hereditary family business. So networking plays a very important role. So that's the reason why the need of business communication. So when we say business communication, right, so it's not always about English, right? So here, even during your from first semester onwards, we also have a class of business communication, right? Why of business communication? Even we will ask, sir. So just 2 days back, some student wrote to me asking for my mentorship regarding their summer internship program, and they don't know how to write it. So it is very important while we are talking about networking. So because in a business, you need to have a big network to grow your business. And if you don't know how to communicate formally with any other competitors or your suppliers, distributor, then you can never grow in your business. So for networking, business communication plays a very important role. And here in business communication, we are not just talking about just mere English, right? But how to communicate. And I hope you know very well, and you should take the topic business communication for how it is important for your networking. Uh, yes, Dharmender sir, uh,
Yeah,
welcome back.
yeah, really appreciate a
So
lot.
while you are off, I was just discussing with the student how networking plays so much important role. Networking, how networking plays such an important role for the growth and development of your business, for expansion of your business. Can you just put more light on it? How networking plays an important role?
Yeah, business is all about collaboration. Okay, you cannot go solo. Let's say you have a ship. Okay, you want to sail the ocean. Do you think you can sail the ship alone? It's impossible. It's not real. You need a team. You need a lot of people. So you have to network, and business doesn't work alone actually, because you will have clients. You'll have to deal with clients. You will have business to business transaction. You will be getting a lot of business. Okay, if you know how to network, if you don't have people talking about you, then you won't grow. There is no possibility. It's like a web. The whole business economy is like a web. If you want to be part of that web, you have to get connected to others. You cannot just float alone. Imagine you are a dot in the this spider web. So it's like, you just, if you are not connected to that net, then you will not float in the net. So the whole economy is like that. All businesses are interconnected. You take anything, everything is interconnected. If you want to be part of it, you have to get networked with others. And once you do that, the beauty, I will tell you, once you do that, this whole ecosystem will keep you afloat. I hope you're getting what I'm trying to say. It means, even if you will create a dependency because of your presence in the whole market, okay, there will be other people be dependent on you, so they will also work for your growth. So indirectly, you will be growing, and your business will always be floating. So it's that dependency will come automatically. But this all happens because of your networking skills. You have to be connected with others. See, most often what happens, for your sale you need a network, for your funding you need network, because somebody has to talk about you, right? Somebody has to talk good about you, and that happens if somebody knows you. If nobody knows you, then why will somebody talk about you, right? And somebody should have a good impression about you, so that they recommend your business or they recommend your product, right? So for that to happen, you have to express yourself. You have to get in touch with others. It's like marketing actually. Networking is nothing but marketing. You are talking about your product indirectly. You are letting others know that you have something to sell, so that other person will talk about it. So it goes on like that. Okay, so that networking is a very, very important part for your business to grow. Okay, without that, you take any businesses now, it's all about collaborations, and you cannot grow alone as well. You'll have to grow the entire, in your ecosystem. You have to help each other. You give somebody business, that guy will give you business. Like that only it happens. Okay, so networking is the most essential part for you to grow, as Rupam has already told. And for that, your communication has to be there. You cannot be a solitary reader and thinking that, okay, my business will automatically grow and I'll be a entrepreneur. It's not like that. Rupam,
Yes, sir. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I hope, student, you have understood what sir was trying to communicate, right? So, networking is nothing but marketing, right? You are indirectly selling your own product, right? If you want to grow your business, if you want to sell your products, so for the purpose of marketing, you have to do your networking. Networking means, as sir said, yes, you there should be someone who talks good about you. If someone is talking good about you, that means they are talking about your products, right, sir?
yes,
uh,
absolutely.
Sir, like you say that the pandemic hit right now, and it has really adverse impacted, especially or entrepreneurs. So we have taken a huge loan or investment, right? So they have taken a toll on their business. So what are the ways to tackle such kind of risk and uncertainties, and what's the scope of futuristic vision for it? So how, so whether you should further invest, or whether you should further do business, or you need to do some diversification, or need some changes in your business to cope up with the current changes or any kind of uncertainties as like the current pandemic. Yes, sir.
I think the COVID has, even though it has created a huge loss for the whole world, I think it's an eye opener. Actually, it's an eye opener. Everybody were going blindly about everything. Actually, we took everything for granted. You take family, you take business. So it's like we are thinking like, okay, this, so anyway, this is going to happen. So we will be succeeding. We will be selling this much. Everything is good. So this was a big eye opener for everyone, especially for people like me, because the way the business was growing, there are a lot of mistakes that I have been doing and that I realized because of the pandemic. So it has opened a Pandora box for all. Okay, that you have to be prepared. For me, I will just give you my example, because from my experience I can tell that I can give you more details. It's like in my business, it's a very capital intensive business, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, which means it involves a huge amount of money. Now that involvement of money is not the main issue. The main issue is the amount of liabilities that you create. So you have to understand between what is liability, what is an asset. There's certain things called lean startup, fat startup. You have to study all these things. What is a fat startup? Fat startup, mine is a fat startup. It means it consumes a lot of money. Okay, lean startups are those uh, which doesn't burn a lot of money. You mostly take a lot of, let's say, software ideas if you have, or some services that you provide, which you can always trim down your expenses. So you have to cut down on your liabilities. Okay, you must not spend a lot of money in your business, and mostly you should be selling, your money should be coming from your customer. Okay, this is number one thing you have to know. You should be avoiding spending investors money. Okay, your investors is nobody else other than customers. You sell first, you generate the money, and that you spend. If you do that, then there is no risk at all. You might have to pitch in a little bit, but not much. This is a mistake I did. I think there's a lot of agreements. Mine is a very it's a real estate business. Real estate business is a little complicated than any other businesses. It involves a lot of huge commercial assets. It comes up with a lot of liabilities. A lot of money is involved in my particular case. So I was not so careful when I was doing any agreement with the landlord or any client. But it was a mistake from my end. But that I learned now. But if I have had this experience, I'd have been doing the same mistake again and again, maybe it would have been costed me much more than what it is costing me now. If, let's say, it is costing me only 20 lakh, if I were going in the same direction, it would have cost me a crore after a year if the pandemic would have hit. So it's good that the pandemic hit me in the right time before I could do more mistakes. That's my story. So I have done my course correction from this point. Everybody has to do this actually. See, pandemic is not the full stop. The the as long as the world is there, people are there, economy is going to be there, businesses are going to be here, people are going to do startups, lot of the money has to flow for everyone. And not everybody will be getting government jobs. So this is a very big eye opener for all. And how I did course correction is like I am cutting down all my unnecessary expenses. I am becoming very much careful on every penny that I spend. I was spending. I was not so disciplined in spending because I was thinking, okay, money is coming, let me spend. Okay, that's how it was business so far. But it has taught me that I have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined with your money. Okay, because that's the blood flow in your body, right? If you don't have your blood flowing in your body, you will not be living, right? So the cash works like that. The money is very much important for you to run the business. So you have to be very careful how you flow the cash through your business. Okay, so that's one thing. Another thing that I have learned is like uh, it's about how you any deal that you do with anyone, how important is it of being utmost compliance. The government compliances are very strict, and you have to learn those things. You see, nobody is going to tell you anything in advance, because why will somebody do that? You have to learn that on your own to some extent. Once you grow so much that you can hire a lot of people for legal and everything, then that's a different story. But till that time, till you cannot afford such people, let's say you need a lawyer, you need account and all these things, but it doesn't come free. You have to pay them huge salaries, right? As startups doesn't have much money, so the only thing that you can do is like you have to learn on your own. There is no escape from learning. Okay, so you have to upscale yourself. So if you can do that, and whatever business you are doing, even though a lot of businesses are going down, they are finding alternate options. Let's say tourism has got hit very badly, but it doesn't mean that tourism is going to die entirely. Some companies will still sustain. You want to be those some companies who will evolve out of this situation. Okay, you have to be smarter than the rest of the business people, right? So it's not the end of the world. COVID is mostly an eye opener for me, especially for me, and my business is still growing. I did the course correction. I was having a lot of unnecessary expenses that I had to cut down, which is good actually. It was not necessary. Then later I realized I was doing those expenses unnecessarily. So that's all actually. I think if you streamline, get hold of this whole thing, then you will still sustain. All businesses will sustain, and it will move on, because the businesses are required. As I said, it's not just my business, it's not just me that is who is working to get my business up. It's because even my clients are impacted, right? So the clients will want that my business doesn't crash, because there is a dependence on them too. The web that I told just in the previous discussion, I was saying about the web. Right now, since I'm part of that web, this whole ecosystem will automatically work for each other so that everybody grows. This is where the network is coming into picture. The relationship, it's all about relationship that you maintain with everybody. You're all stakeholders. If you maintain a good relationship, this relationship is going to work for you to stay afloat in business, and it will help you to grow as well. Like a lot of clients have been there whom I have been helping during the hard times, right? So now they becomes my regular customers. See, wherever possible, they will help each other. I will help them, they will help me. So likewise, the dependency is created. They need me, they need me as much as I need them, right? So like that, it's moving on. So if you have built a very good relationship with everyone, your business is going to sustain. So this is very much essential in your thing. This is number two, I think I'm saying. Yeah, these are very crucial thing. And another thing I have learned is your sales skills. If you're not selling, you should not be doing a business. Okay, you must have sales skill, and it has to be you who should be having the most selling skill. See, you can hire sales people. That's different story. But first, good amount of sales has to be done by the founder himself or herself. You cannot be dependent on somebody else for you to sell. So that because if that happens, anytime your sales team or sales people goes away, your business is doomed, right? So that the third thing is the sales is very much important for you to be able to do. So for that, if you maintain a good relationship in the market, They will talk about you, and you will have a lot of repeat customers. Repeat customer, you know, right? What is a repeat customer? Repeat customers are asset for you. You're not selling a product for one time, right? It's mostly a repeating thing. You have to focus more on. It's more often, even if you sell a TV, let's say, it's not a one-time job. Once you deliver the TV, it's the support and service that you provide that matters more. It's not how good is the TV, it's how good is your service and experience that you give to the customer. So you still have to maintain all these things. Apart from this, you have to have your team confidence. You should be able to keep motivating your team. If you cannot keep them glued together, again, there will be a bigger problem. It's like I told you about the ship, right? So you need a team working in unison in the same direction. Let's say everybody is somebody want to go north, somebody want to go south, somebody east and west, then the ship will be static there. So everybody has to work in unison. So as a founder, as an entrepreneur, it is your job to keep the team motivated and keep their direction in line with the business this thing, and you have to respect them as well. Another thing that is very, very important for any business is like, no person in your team is small. Okay, no job is small in your business. Okay, let's say I will give my example, my housekeeping staff. You may think that they are just the lowly wages people, but no, they are my assets. Without them, my business doesn't run. My business doesn't run without them. I'm telling you. I can do without a marketing guy, I can do without digital marketing, I can do without anything, but I cannot do without those people, the housekeeping staff and security guards. So I have to give equal respect to them as well. If you can do that, if everybody do it, so that's how you build a team actually, where you make feel business and to your team. And once you do that, this whole ecosystem, your team, your customers, your investors, they will work together so that your business still stays afloat. So this is something you have to build, and this will not happen overnight. This will happen over your experience. You will do a lot of mistakes, and you will keep learning. And once you do the course correction, you will still stay floating, and you will be still moving on. Rupam, back
Yes,
to you.
sir. Like you were discussing how even in our class we have discussed so many times, right? Like how during any kind of loss or any kind of uncertainties in the market, how a business need to take corrective action. And definitely, as sir said, so you cannot take on the revenue generation, right? So you need to take the correction in your liability, like, so you should do some correction. You have to cut down, you have to decrease your variable cost, right? Your unnecessary expenses or unnecessary spending on your business, so that you can minimize the loss, right? So we have so many times we have discussed that to minimize the cost, definitely we cannot increase our price, right? We cannot do any corrective action in the top line of management, so we have to do corrective action in the bottom line of management, that is by decreasing the cost of expenditure or cost of production, right? And sir has very much lightly said that how much there is a effort of team, right? The team effort and networking, as sir was discussing, and how marketing plays such an important role. Dharmendra sir, we would like to know some more about what are the different ways of marketing. Like even in class, I have been discussing with a student how social media nowadays plays so much important role in doing the marketing, especially for entrepreneurs. Yes, can you put some more light on how you have done your marketing during your initial time when you started your business, and how you have done your marketing, and how social media plays so much important role in advertising and marketing, or even public relation PR of your company? Yes, sir.
Okay, hi. So yeah, the marketing, how what worked for me? I'll just tell you what worked for me. So what worked for me is my initial few customers. Okay, so the best marketing tool that anyone can have is talks about you. Okay, you initially you just need few customers. You give them your best, and they will do marketing for you. Trust me. So that is the initial phase. That's how you have to tackle. You don't need 100 customers in day one, because if you get 100 customers, there is a chance that you will do even bigger mistakes, and there you will have a lot of bad reviews about you initially. So have few customers, give your best to them, and they will market for you. How they will market for you? They will talk about their experience to others. That's how you'll get more customers. This word of mouth is the biggest marketing tool in the world till date. Till today, it is the best marketing tool in the market. Okay, so you have to create a value. That value creation is very much necessary. If you can create that value, it will work for you. It will bring a long lasting your customers, and it will bring very good customers for you. That those becomes asset for you now. But when you scale up, see, this initial word of mouth and so these things will work for you for a certain time. But when you're planning for scaling up in the sense, you are going to go, like, let's say you are confident with your customer experience. Now you have proven yourself worthy that you can deliver certain services or product to a customer with the utmost quality. Now what next thing you have to do is, like, you have to do scaling. Now when you do scaling, that's when the social media comes into picture, because social media is a very good tool for you to get in touch with your potential clients. It could be anywhere. It could be Facebook. It could be LinkedIn. Based on your what product you're selling, you have to choose your platforms. Okay, like let's say you are into a B2B business, then a good platform might be the LinkedIn instead of Facebook, right? So it all depends. So you have to choose wisely which media to what spend more effort on, and where you have to spend less effort. That you have to choose based on your client base. For that, you have to know what is your client base. Okay, so once you know this, and then you can strategize your spendings on the social media as well. Even social media is not like you have money. Okay, what I have learned from my own this thing, you know about Richard Branson, right? Virgin Airline. A lot of people, like let's say Tesla, our Elon Musk. What these guys have done is, like, they have created a brand name of the person themselves. Okay, how did they do that? This is like, as a human being, they portray themselves as a brand actually. Okay, now whatever they do automatically gets the necessary uh, limelight. Okay, it's not always necessary that your product has to be limelighted. Like you talk about Patanjali didn't require much of a marketing, because it was done by Baba Ramdev. Baba Ramdev was the brand name. Rupam, you're understanding what I'm
Yes,
saying,
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
you
sir.
have to create a brand. So that is another how you can create brand value. Once the world knows you, then anything that you do, you become the Midas actually. Anything that you touch becomes gold. Okay, so that is one approach. That is one approach that even I am trying, but yeah, I'm still very small, at very small level I am doing. But that is one way to get the marketing done. So what you have to do, you have to create your own portfolio, a very strong portfolio where people believes you, where people like what you talk, where people wants to engage with you in various way. So if that happens, whatever product you are selling, people will come to know, and they will rely that okay, this product is by this guy. Okay, then I can get this. I don't have to again recheck what is the quality of this. I already know the person who is doing it, so I believe him. So that is one way to go by for social media. Another thing, but that is not only true for social media, that is true for society. I mean, social media, right? It could be, you can be known. It's a, like, social media is just how many years? So it's just 5 years old maybe, right? But the brand value creation was there from the beginning of time, right? I mean, people used to know people. That's how the brand was coming into picture, right? So when Bill Gates started, there was nobody knowing social media, right? So that's how there are multiple ways. Social media is a very strong platform if you want to get into the masses, get to the right potential clients. Okay, but as I said in the beginning, your first few clients, you might have to search manually. In the sense, you have to talk to people, you have to get to them personally. You sell them, you give them a very good experience. They will do the initial marketing for you, because they will, if they enjoy your product and services, they will make sure that you get some more clients. Those initial clients will spread your spread about you. They will spread good about you. Get a good hold of the market. You will also gain confidence, because there you have a room for mistakes as well. Because if these people know you very well, even if you do some mistakes, they will tell you and you can do the correction. But once you go full-fledged, full scale, then you will not have that chance. Now any mistakes if you do in the at a full scale value, it will it is going to stay. A bad mark is going to stay forever and you won't be able to remove it. So better be safe than sorry. So you serve less people in the beginning. Go slow. Start small. You don't have to build an airline company in just one day. Okay, you start small and then you keep growing gradually. You have to strategize your marketing techniques. Social media is not the only marketing tool available. There are news channels. There is a lot of physical marketings are required, and you will need people. When you do scaling up, you will need all these things. See, another thing is these all things you need not worry too much in the beginning of when you are starting something. You don't have to worry too much about these things. You just worry about your product and your customer in the beginning. You give them your best. You sell the product, and gradually, what will happen? You will come across. You will meet a lot of good people who will help you building a good organization in due course of time. You can get them on board. They can join you, and always remember that you cannot do this alone. You cannot make your company success alone. You will need a lot of people alongside with you, working with you. So be ready to be open for that thing. Don't think like, okay, this is my company. I am the only boss, and I should be only working. Everything should be mine only. That's not how it works. You have to get people on board. You have to know other people's talent, and accordingly you should be able to utilize their skill sets. So I think I have answered your question, I hope.
Yeah, yes, sir. Like when in our class during the steps, while we are discussing the steps of entrepreneurship, right? How when you the you should first find the problem in the market, then choose the potential solution which will lead to your uh, business idea. And before, like Mr. Kalita has discussed, that yes, first you have to do some pilot or trial study, like sir, Kalita sir has discussed that first, before expanding or before implementing your business in the market, right, first you need to do some trial. And for the initial trial, right, you should build some customer through manually, right sir, manually, so that by getting some feedback you can make some correction before full potentially you should expand your business in the market. Yes sir.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so it is always good to do some pilots run so that in a few customers, if you get some positive feedback or even some negative feedback, you should make some necessary correction. Accordingly, you should do that correction in the future course of action, and then only you should implement your business in a full proof or full expansion. Um Mr. Kalita, we would also like to know some more about, because we have been discussing in class how to go for funding of startup. So, how to get funds from various venture capitalists? Is venture capitalists is very easy available to approach, or banks is the most easiest way to approach? How to get funding for startups?
Okay, that's an interesting question. This is a blocker for everyone. We think that, okay, we always need funding from somebody else in the beginning. But the best funding, the best funding is initially you should be able to do from yourself. That's called bootstrapping. Don't spend too much. See, if you take investment from somebody else in the beginning of time, that means you will have to give them a good amount of shares of your company as well. So it is not advised for you to actually take huge amount of investment in the beginning. Again, nobody is going to invest in you just because you have an idea. Okay, idea is not anybody can come up with the idea. The execution is what differentiates you. Okay, I can say I can go to the moon, but I didn't go to the moon. That's as simple as that. I can say that, okay, I can hire some 100 people, I can spend this much money, I can build a rocket, and I can spend somebody to the moon. But did I spend somebody to the moon? No, I haven't. So it's not the idea that is important. It's see, investors doesn't invest on ideas. If you that is one thing. Investor invest on the people. Investors want to see whether you have the potential to deliver what you're saying. For that, you must have that experience. So first few miles you have to go alone. You have to prove you're worthy of it. If you're saying that you can build something very big and you can make huge profit, the investor will ask you, okay, show me 1 rupee profit first, then I will come, then come back to me, and then I will invest in you. So that first 1 rupee profit you have to show from yourself. Let's say for that you have to spend 100 rupees and earn 101 rupees, that is still fine. So then the investor then will come say, okay, let me put in 1 crore and you give me one crore and 1 lakh rupees. But that first initial thing you have to do from your own thing. If you do from somebody else, then initially, then it's actually what will happen. You will lose good amount of business also. You might have to give maybe 50% of your company. So that is not advised. The thing is, investor, I want to repeat that statement. Investor doesn't invest just on the idea. They invest on the people. So that person has to prove worthy of that investment. Okay, so how entrepreneurs should take about it. So first, what you have to do is you have to know what you want to do, and whether you want to do that or not. Whether you want a comfortable life, just let somebody else take all the stress to give you salary. Whether you want to do that, or whether you want to be that someone who will make sure that you and your team gets a job, gets their salary. If that is the person that you want to be, then you have to choose what probably excites you. See, if you don't have passion about something, you will not succeed. You will not be doing it with full heart. Okay, so there are a lot of factors that that will be required when you choose your field of initial venture probably. And how to go by is like, see, you don't have to start something of your own in the beginning. You have to first focus heavily on the learning of it. Let's say you want to start. You take any business name. Let's say you want to get started with food supply, for example. So you want to get very big logistic company. You want to go national. What you can do now? You don't have money to get that big. So what you do? You work for a logistic company first. You work for free. They will hire you. You work as an intern. They will hire you. You said that you don't need any salary. They will hire you. You get into that company. You learn how everything works, and then you will lot of ideas will come. Then you will have people as well. Then you will know a lot of people. Then you will know the stakeholders. Then you will know whom to talk to. Then because next time you will go to someone and say that, okay, I want to do something in this logistic area. Then they will know that, okay, you have the experience, and then they will know that you know what you are saying. But suddenly, just after passing out from your graduation, and you go to some investor, and you go and say that, hey, this is a great idea in logistics. If we do this way, we'll make a lot of money. Let's do this. He will not even talk to you, because he will say you just passed, you just did your graduation. A lot of people are already doing that. What differentiates you? They see, nobody is bothered about your idea. Anybody can come up with ideas. I'm telling you. So that execution part, and that your worth, you have to prove yourself initially. You can start very small. If you think you should still get started, you start, but you start small. You don't have to start the entire thing in the day one. You can take any small subset of it, and you start that part. You start giving service of that small entity, and then you keep on scaling up. You will also learn in the same process. If you don't know a good amount of uh, about that new venture, there is a chance that you will do a lot of mistakes, which will cost you a lot of money. Not just your money, your investors also will lose a lot of money, and that will make a bad impression about you, and you'll never get any more investment from anybody. So that is about this investments. But how I did that also I'll tell you, because I did job for 10 years. So I had some I was having job. So I was mostly, I took loan from bank. But bank will also not give you a loan to you if you're just a student, right? So I had to work for 10 years to be eligible to get a huge amount of loan also, right? So there are a lot of hard work you have to do, and this will not have happened just in 1 month or 2 months like that. You have to know what you are doing. You have to spend time. You have to be very patient. You have to spend years. I'm telling you, it's not just 1 month or 2 months thing. You have to spend years, or on something to get it to some such certain level. So since I spent 10 years in IT job, my CIBIL score was very high, so I am eligible for any amount of loan. Plus my friends, I have a lot of good friends, so that friendship also happened because I am in the job, right? So I have the similar network people having that same 11 years of experience, who are in very good positions in very good companies. Now I don't only not only have access to fund through them, I also have access to their network because they are also in some good positions in certain companies. They can not just bring fun for me, they can also bring business for me. That's what worked for me in case of funding. If you tell me, I haven't gone for any funding yet. It's all bootstrap. I have taken money from friends. I have taken loan from bank, not as a business loan. I have taken personal loan. I have, even if the business have to return these are not. So I have taken risk, and I have my friends help me out whenever necessary. They are helping me out because of the value that I have created with them. So now people have to have faith in you. They have to know you're worth it. They have to believe in you. If that happens, then they will be ready to help you out to any extent. And that will not just happen in a day. It will take time. You start small, you prove yourself worthy, and then you can always approach an investor. See, approaching an investor also, there are a lot of firms nowadays who says that, okay, you come up with your idea, we'll help you create the presentation, you just go and you raise fund, you pay us certain money and be happy. That is a shortcut that might not work for many of us, because many people doesn't have even money to pay those firms to prepare that presentation. Now the challenge there is, if you take some third party help to uh, tell about your business, how it has the potential, then you are lacking something. That means you don't have the necessary skill set to build a business model by yourself, which is required. Because if you don't know what you're doing, then somebody else will come and take over your business any day. So you have to know what you're doing. You have to know a lot of things. See, you have to read a lot of books, by the way. If you think that we are done with reading books, we are not. Even I read books nowadays. I read financial books. I read, sometimes I read a lot of legal things also on internet, by the way, not on books. But I have to read. You have to read. Okay, there is no escape from that. You have to gain a lot of knowledge. You have to know certain things about accounting also, because if you don't know, then the language that investor will talk in, you will not even understand the terms. Those things, let's say top line, bottom line, or turnover, let's say revenue, all these things, if you don't know about any basic things about all these things, then the investors will not entertain you as well, because you are not understanding their language at all, right? So you have to learn all these things, and this will not happen in a day. This is a gradual process. The best thing is you have to just get started. You get started with a small thing. In due course of time, you will learn a lot. You will, because you have to do a lot of tax filing, you have to do a lot of compliance things that you will be doing eventually, and that process, it will teach you. The process will teach you. You are bound to learn all those things. Anyway, irrespective of this, I'll still give you some idea about how the funding works. Mostly, still some people get funds. Let's say if you go to IIT or NIT, still a lot of investment firms goes and funds their ideas, because they see that these guys have worth. Again, there they will invest on the people. They will see their credentials. Actually, let's say you are coming up with a very good software idea. Now they will see who is going to develop the software. If you're saying that you are going to develop on your own, then they will want to see your development skills. There are a lot of ways to find that out. Let's say if you have a GitHub account, you have to show your past works. Let's say you have done anything, you have to show them. They will come to know, okay, this guy had the capability. This guy has done something on his own. So then that's how that your work comes into picture. Even though it's just the idea for them, looking at their past work, the investor will think that, okay, let me take chances, let me give him some money, and let me take some chance. And the investment doesn't come in one shot, because investor, you have to prove yourself worthy of the investment. So the investor will give you some money to get started. Then there will be certain goals, there will be certain milestones. If you are able to achieve them, then the next uh, pot of money will come. It's like that, actually. And when we talk about venture capitalists or angel funding, so some idea I will give you. The investment happens in multiple phases. The initial time when you do it, it's called seed funding. Seed funding is like, again, there is a series called pre-seed funding. These are very initial period of funding when it's just about the idea. Still some funding at a very small level if they believes you, and those all things happens on your personal value only. It doesn't matter how beautiful slide you will prepare. It will not play a bigger role. Actually, it will matter who you are, what you are, what's your worth. Only if you're worth it, you will get the money. Okay, so then eventually, gradually, that first investor that you have, right, if you prove yourself worthy, that will bring the next round of investment automatically. You have to just make someone believe about your idea with a small value creation, and if he invests in you, the next level will be, the next phases are easier. Actually, it's just the first step that is difficult. And another thing, the investor will also want that some money you put from your own pocket, because he wants to see that you are taking good amount of risk. There should be a risk from your side also. It should not be like, if it is lost, it's the investor money is only lost and you don't lose anything. So investor will not do that. Nobody will do that. It's not just any investor. They need to see that you are taking the risk actually. So these are some about investment. Again, angel investment comes in like, see, these are bigger numbers. When we talk about VC doesn't even talk to you if the investment amount is, I think, below 50 crore, 100 crore. First is the angel. Even angel funding is about, let's say, 30 lakh, 50 lakh in those volumes. Now, let's say, even if I give you 50 lakh money, you will not be able to do anything until and unless you learn how to use the money. So that investment part, investor, that part is actually very, it's not in the beginning. You should not be worried about how you will get funding, whether bank is going to give or not. See, for bank also, bank will see your last 2 or 3 years of turnover, transaction, how you have been doing in the business. Okay, without that, bank will not give you any loan. So the thing is, everybody wants to see your worth. Everybody wants to see your work first. You do some work, you prove yourself, you earn rupees 1, that is fine. You just you earn 1 rupee. Once you do that, the rest of the part is not so tough. I'm telling you, it's not so tough. Back to you.
Yes, students, like yes, like I hope students you have now able to relate what we have studied theoretically in our lectures, right? And with a practical prospect from a real entrepreneurs. Like we have always been discussing that how a bank provide loans, right? They also see your worth, right? They also see that the entrepreneurship venture or that business should earn profit for the last 2 years, right? Only then they will put money on your business, right? And as sir was discussing that no investor will put money on just a mere idea, even if we have a great idea, maybe some breakthrough innovation, right? But the most is execution. Execution path plays bigger role than even a innovative idea, right? Because any investors will not put money just on idea, but the worth and value of the person you are, right? And to create that value proposition or the worth of yourself, right? You have to invest on yourself, and that investment comes into picture from your experience in doing some business, or maybe experience in working in some other companies, or it's best way like Mr. Kalita was discussing. Even if you are not paid, if you are working in some organization or a startup, just to learn, right? If in the initial 1 year, even if you are not paying a high salary, just work so that you can learn something. You can learn how the business is working, how it is growing. Eventually you will get network, and that network you will do your marketing for your business in the initial startup. Students, do you have any question to ask to Mr. Kalita Dharmender sir? Yes, students, yes, we welcome if anyone have any question before we wrap up the session. Yes, Bhavya, Siddhi.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, I hope you are all clear. And because I wanted whatever we were discussing in class, you will inculcate it, you will understand it only from a practical perspective, right? So with me along with my student would like to thank you, sir, for giving your precious time, and you have spared this time from your valuable, because time is money, right? If you have spent this time by leaving your business for this 1 hour, that means we are really thankful that you are giving your valuable money to us, to share your knowledge and experience with our students. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
You're
So,
most
students, yeah. So I hope no one has any question to ask. So as I have already shared your website and link of Rook India, so you can go through his slide, and definitely if you have any question, you can mail to him. The mail ID is there, right, sir?
yes.
Yeah,
He'll
you
see, he'll
can get some ideas. Yeah. Okay, so I'm wrapping up here. Student, I have downloaded the attendance list. So now here I am ending the today's session. Okay, sir. Thank you so much. We are really glad that you are here with us to share your knowledge and experience. Thank
Thank you.
you so much.
Best
Sir,
of
I'm
luck.
ending this session.